Hey everybody, I'm Scott Allen Miller. This is Sheep Guarding Llama. It is the 10th of June, 2020. Wow, every time I start the video, she gets so excited. So excited! There's so much going on! Yes! It's Mia and Daddy on the video. And it's Wednesday. Dominica and Paul got back last night. Decent time. They made a really good time driving down. I mean, they pretty much came from the Canadian border and drove. We're not exactly on the Mexican border, but, you know, we're in a state. We're well into a state that goes to Mexico, and they came from a state that touches Canada, one of the northernmost states, and drove the whole north-south of the United States in, like, just under 12 hours or something like that. It was crazy. They did really, really well, and didn't run into any problems. So I had done the video for yesterday before they got here, just knowing that they were coming. So they got in, we unpacked, they had a car full of cheese, believe it or not, coming from Wisconsin. They actually stocked up on cheese to the point where the fridge is having a problem storing it all. We had to freeze tons of it. They also got, my father is familiar with this, they brought a pie from the Norski Nook. Can't remember what it was. Apple lingonberry, yeah. That all disappeared in one day, as you can imagine, and that pie was $40. So Paul says we're not doing that anymore. But $40 Norski Nook pie came down, and that reminded Dominica that I still haven't had my cake, or in my case, pie from my birthday, which many of you know if you watch this show. It's February 25th. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Keep that in mind. And so it's March, April, May. We're now 3.5 months at least past my birthday. More than a season has passed, and I've not gotten a cake yet. Chana had a birthday. We had her cake. Paul had a birthday. We had his cake. My cake has not happened yet. So that was a reminder. And so I got home. Dominica and I watched Jurassic Park 5. That's the latest one, Fallen Kingdom. I have to say, it's pretty bad. But of course, so Jurassic Park 1, which we watched last night, I think, 2 nights ago, with Liesl and Luciana, or that I watched with them, is of course one of the greatest movies ever made. And actually today is the 27th anniversary of it, right? So I watched it a couple days, but 1993 is when that came out. I was still in high school. I was like a junior in high school when they released that movie, and it was still in theaters when I was in college, right? So my entire senior year of high school, which I graduated in 94, right? So in my junior year, towards the end, they released the movie, or I guess I was done with my junior year. I don't know, but like the summer between junior and senior year, it was at the drive-in. I think I saw it at the drive-in, actually. Perry, New York, best drive-in ever. And my entire senior year of high school is in theaters. I went to college in Michigan, and I went to see it on a date with, I want to say, Tracy Miller in Flint, Michigan in 1994. And funny enough, Tracy's little sister's best friend lives right behind me in Frisco, and we hang out sometimes. So that's a small world. So that's how long this is in theater. Such a big classic thing. And the first one was so good. It's so good, it still ranks as one of the greatest movies. Jurassic Park 2 and 3 were pretty bad. 4 was acceptable. 5 was terrible again, just like 2 and 3. It's just train wreck, terrible writing, none of it makes sense. Awful acting, terrible casting. They're stuck with the stars from 4, which were terrible, and just the whole thing. It's bad. I wouldn't watch it again. Luckily, the kids decided not to watch it. Liesl can't be bothered to watch things with us too often, and Luciana almost wanted to watch Jurassic Park 2, but then too many people died in Jurassic Park 1, and she just doesn't like people dying, which is a great thing. So she doesn't want to watch movies where people die. So we ruled it out. And a lot of people did die in 5. They're all bad people, but it doesn't matter. She doesn't like anybody dying. So there you go. But we watched it, and I didn't like it. So, but then today, so work was really rough today. Not like bad rough, but Valentina and I both talked about it, and we're like, this is just the longest day. We had a 9 o'clock meeting this morning, which is not early, but it's like early for a meeting for us. And the meeting went really well. It just dragged down the day, and it was like, oh, this is painful. Like the whole day. By like 2 o'clock, we're both like, it's not 6. Like we thought we were working late, and it was barely lunchtime. Just a really bad day. from an emotional standpoint, right? No bad things happened. It's one of those days you have to step back, but that we both felt it. And then a couple other people in the office were like, "Yeah, it feels like a really rough day." And we're just like, What happened?" Um, so it just felt like the day went on for a really long time, and I didn't get done for a really long time. And so it really was a draining day. But at night, Dominica was going through the movies that we have access through Movies Anywhere or something. Discovered that we have, we don't always know these things, the third Da Vinci Code movie, Inferno. So we watched that together, and it was okay. It was not as good as the first two, and none of them are great. They're all watchable. And Inferno wasn't bad, but it wasn't as good. I think the first two were pretty decent, really, and the third one was eh. I can see why there's probably not a fourth one, right? It definitely petered out. Plus, Tom Hanks is not as young as he used to be, so the many years it takes between these movies definitely makes it harder for him to maintain making action movies or action-ish movies. But it is good. If you have access to it, go watch it. And then I stayed up because I discovered in the same thing that we had access to Jason Bourne. And for those who follow the channel, you know that in the last few days I watched, I guess over the last week or so, I rewatched the Bourne Identity, the Bourne Supremacy, the Bourne Ultimatum. I really like Matt Damon. I really like the Bourne series, like the whole thing. They are very repetitive. There's no getting around it. Crazy repetitive. But I like the filmography, and the writing within the repetitive thing is pretty good, and they kind of give you that like James Bond kind of feel, but with a twist, whatever. So I watched the fourth one, and it fit right in, right? It was repetitive, it was predictable, but it was good. It was good people, well written, filmed well, good action. So I finally saw that. So I finally have caught up on Jason Bourne, finally caught up on the Da Vinci Code, and finally caught up on Jurassic Park all in the last few days. And that's pretty much all I did today, was work until really late after having a really long day working yesterday. And that was it. That's the day. And I had quite a bit of Kool-Aid and rum to make the evening go better. I have decided that when we're looking at our house in Nicaragua, one of the features, because we're talking about building, I think I've mentioned that a bit, I really love water features, just in general. And normally it's like, boy, we got the space, we could make like a little stream. Or what if we had like a little burbling brook somewhere? Or we could have a little waterfall and a little trout pond, right? You're always trying to come up with a fountain. What if we had a fountain, right? It's all like making do. For those of us who love water features, everything feels like making do. But it suddenly occurred to me, we're talking about putting in a pool, because it's Nicaragua, you really want a pool. And we really want a bar in the house because we use nothing more than the bar in our house. And it suddenly occurred to me that I could have a pool with one of those like theme park styled chicken wire and concrete formed things, have a waterfall on that. So a good sized waterfall that goes out into the pool, which of course helps keep the pool clean and aerated and healthy, and sounds great, gives you that wonderful, like really serious waterfall sound. I mean, not like Niagara Falls, but like bigger than a fountain kind of sound. And we could actually put a pool bar under it, so you go in, because obviously you're wet when you're in the pool, so you don't care if you're going under the waterfall, but then you can actually sit at a pool bar, which we all want, we love that stuff, and actually be underneath the waterfall. And then because it's not real rock, you can make a space under the waterfall to actually have the bar. We have the drinks and the accoutrements and all that stuff, so a bartender can actually work back there and serve, and you just dig down a little bit so they can stand at roughly the same level that you're sitting at the pool bar, and they can serve you at the pool bar, but have all this stuff and like underneath the waterfall. Like, how cool would that be? And none of it's expensive stuff. So when you're talking about Nicaragua, chicken wire is not expensive, concrete's not expensive, digging is not expensive. It's mostly a human labor thing, and labor down there is a lot cheaper. So the ability to build something like this is actually probably really good and not expensive at all. It would be the neatest feature of this house. It would be so cool. We would use it non-stop, and you could really easily have like maybe a pergola next to it or a little gazebo kind of thing, so you could have tables right next to the bar, so you want to get like drinks, and you can have food in the bar and just serve it up. It's almost like having kind of a rainforest cafe restaurant thing going on in the backyard for really hardly any cost. And we want to have an outdoor grill, So we need a spot to put that. We're really serious about having an outdoor wood-fired pizza oven. Gotta have somewhere to put that. We can put all this together and just make it in the one spot and design it well. We can have a covered area, an exposed area, and under the waterfall area, it could be the coolest thing. And then you just add lights, like backlit cave, with underwater lights, so at night, like really, really cool. Daytime, really, really cool. And it's hot down there a lot, so you want to be able to have the waterfall. Gives you a great place to sit. You're out of the sun, because otherwise you're going to fry, especially for those of us who don't have a lot of hair. So that's something I'm really excited about, and it seems potentially pretty doable. So yeah, came up with that today. And that's about it. I'm not going to do this cool thing because it doesn't seem to work. You can see it right through my hand. Like, I must be like transparent. I don't know. I'll see everybody tomorrow.